We're here with Vic Hill before tonight's Southern All-Stars race at Tazewell Speedway. We're going to talk about his steelhead races that he's been putting on. Vic, you had one a month ago at Bull's Gap, and by all accounts is a great success. So you had to be really pleased with how that one went.
I was, and like I said, I've been going to a lot of these races in this area, and there's a lot of those type cars, and even, North Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, there's a lot of steelhead type racing. And what I'm trying to do is just basically have a race that's simple for the drivers to understand what the rules are. And it's a 362 or 365 cubic inch steelhead, steel block with P&G the top 5. That makes it simple. The tire rules open on the front. The rear tires are a shoulder plated 1600 or a 56, and they have to durometer 55, which gives room for if they're hot or cold, and that simplifies it. So everybody's on the same page and pay enough money to make them want to come race. And like I said, we didn't have an entry fee. If you're a racer that got to the show and didn't make the show, it cost $35 to get in. You got $40 when you left. So the guys that are competing in the races get paid, and the guys that come try to compete in the race shouldn't spend money to try to be part of the race. And like I said, this next race, it pays more money. It's like a $21,000 or $2,000 purse. It pays more start money. It pays more up front all the way through the field. And hopefully by next year we'll get it big enough to where we can have 6 or 7 of these races at different racetracks in this area. I'm going to talk to Gary, obviously, and everybody at Smoky Mountain and Wartburg, and just the racetracks in this area, so a guy doesn't have to travel. He can go back home, go to bed, but race for a good amount of money.
Well, where did the idea, because typically when people think of putting on big races, they think of super late models, so where did that idea originate from to go with the Steelhead's a limited late model?
Well, the reason I did that, like I said, I've been coming to these races, and I've watched crate racing in this area with tracks that are fast, like this track in Bulls Gap, Smoky Mountain. And the crate racing, they're so underpowered, it's not a good show normally for the fans. I hate to say this, but it looks like a freight train. Now, there's some tracks that it is a good race, but in this area, they're generally not. The limited late model show, for here, for instance, I think their weight rule is 2,500 pounds for a certain engine, and they'll qualify 11, 6, or 5 around this place. That's getting around here pretty good. So I know they're fast enough to put on a show, and there's a lot more of them. So, I started thinking, I talked to Phyllis and Joe, I said, let's try to have one. Stick our neck out here. And when I said no entry fee, they're like, oh, what are you talking about? And I said, look, let's do that, and we'll get people that want to come race.
Now, the next one's going to be October the 12th at the Volunteer Speedway. It's going to pay $6,000 to win. And based on the number of cars you had for the first time, it paid $5,000 to win. You've got to be thinking the field's going to be pretty tremendous.
I'm hoping so. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of feedback just from the announcements that Tilly's put on Twitter and Facebook, and just started, just came up with it last week, really finalized it. And I hope we've got 50 cars again. Maybe we'll have 70. Who knows?
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that with the limiteds, there are a lot of those cars that have a Vic Hill Race Engines sticker on the hood there. It really serves as a good way to promote your business as well.
It is. And I didn't really do this for my business to sell engines. Obviously, I've done a lot of these engines around here. That's the reason I know that there's a lot of steelhead stuff out here. But you've got Eagle Race Engines in Knoxville. Custom Race Engines still does some steelhead stuff. John LaFawn's place down there. So there's a lot of engine builders that can benefit from this, and it helps the whole racing industry.
Well, I've talked to Ray Cook about this before, and you're certainly not an old man by any means because we're about the same age. But Ray has thought about where he's going to go when that day comes that he's not driving. Of course, you've got the engine business, but is this something that you would foresee as a step you might want to take when you finally do decide to retire from driving?
It really depends. The engine business I've got is the first thing. And, I've got a shock business with Brett Miller, and it's small and controllable. And this right now for me is just fun, and it's fun to make people happy that go race.
Okay. And this will be the last one for this year, and then you're hoping for next year?
Yeah, and that way we can have some time to plan over the winter, and like I said, get with some other tracks and try to put something together to where they know they've got 6 or 7 races during the season that they can go and race, and it'll help the promoters and the race car drivers, and I just think it's a good deal for this area.
Well, I know it's got a lot of fans excited, but I really don't think I've seen the competitors be this excited in quite a while. But as soon as the first announcement was made that you're going to have a 5,000 steelhead race, I mean, the excitement level really was up.
Yeah, I mean it was, and like I said, you've got to feel good when you go to the racetrack. You know, if you go to run one of these races and you think, wow, if I run 10th, I'm going to lose $2,000. That's a bad feeling right off the bat. So, like I said, I'm just trying to do it to where if you get in this show, you're going to make a little bit of money. It's a little cheaper type racing. The tire rule is definitely simple and cheap. I mean, you can go to all these racetracks, unless you have a flat, you're going to have 4 tires most of the time.
Well, good luck to you not only tonight, but
right.
in the future.
All right, thanks.